Hi everyone, it's Myra Energy and I have two very special guests with me today. I have the founders of Scrybe Streaming, Mott, aka Martin, and Christian. So thank you guys for being here today.
Of course.
Yes, we're so excited to learn more about Scrybe. I know that a lot of people have downloaded the app already, and many people, even the biggest artists to the most littlest independent artists know about it. So what else do you want to tell people that don't know about it? Tell us about how Scrybe started and what it is.
Oh, man. So myself and Mott have known each other for, 10 plus years. We've been through multiple companies together in the music industry. My background in the music industry is I am a music agent and sports agent. Martin's been an engineer, a master engineer, singer. I mean, you can introduce yourself, but...
No, you did.
Did I do good?
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
So we met on a whim and we just immediately clicked. I mean, from the moment we met, about a month later, we were building a brand new studio, and through everything that we've gone through, we've just realized the issues that the music industry has. We've been seeing a lot of artists, just, amazing artists spending thousands of dollars in the studio and not ever able to get a return on their investment. And not just artists, but even, small labels or whatnot. So through all that, we just was like, hey, let's try to figure out a solution to this.
Yeah.
And it kind of cooked up in an office, and I woke up in a sweat. No, I'm just kidding, no. But
So it does help that you have a background in music. Mm-hmm. You are an engineer, so you know exactly how to speak the language of music itself and with the artists and what they're doing. So You both have a true connection to the artist. You're not just some businessman that's trying to do a random project. Like you actually are truly artists yourselves. You're connected. You've experienced this world. What is Scrybe? What does Scrybe do?
So, can we take that?
Yeah.
This is literally our dynamic. It's the best dynamic ever. We rock like that. So Scrybe is a completely decentralized app, meaning that we do not participate in things that the other apps do when you say like ASCAP, BMI, stuff like that. We always say we're on our own island. And the reason that is just to give artists that freedom that they truly deserve to actually make money and not have bits and pieces of it broken off by a distribution company or wherever else that money decides to go. So we charge, the max an artist can charge on this app, because they set their own prices, is 50 cents. So an artist, you're saying an artist has 10,000 fans, can charge 50 cents a month. They're making $5,000 a month off of 10,000 people. Yeah. It's just something that's just not possible in the industry today. Right. So we're helping artists truly make a living off of music again, which is, the main goal.
Yes. Right. I mean, it was born out of necessity in a sense. I mean, like you said, we've been working with artists in our studios over the years, and Christian, being the master promoter and everything that he is, he helped a lot of artists gain a following, gain some traction in the industry, getting streams and whatnot. But some of these artists would come back and realize, hey, I got all these streams, but where's the payoff for it? Right. So we sat in Christian's office as we normally do, cooking up ideas, and I think we just came up with that's how Scrybe was born. We were like, we need to come up with something that's going to help these artists get paid. Yeah. I'm tired of letting Spotify and all these other apps just kind of do what they do, and which is not pay the artist, and we tried to find a way around it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just sitting here thinking that I'm speaking to both of you, and I'm just kind of taking it in that it's so amazing that I'm sitting here with two of the most revolutionary human beings that are about to make history, already making history. You're changing the music game, honestly, and I mean that truly. Like, how cool that I get to sit here and be with both of you. And through that, how many years have you guys been doing this? And through all those years, what has that been like? Because you're doing something new that nobody's ever done before, and you're kind of almost learning as you go too, because the path hasn't been charted. How has that journey been? Tell me about the times that you've been through, the highs and the lows and everything like that.
Start.
Man, it has truly been a journey, and and somebody who loves adventure, who I embrace the highs and the lows. For one, you have to love, just on a whole different side, you have to love what you do. We love Scrybe. We love the music industry. We love the artists that we work for. And then two, you have to do it with somebody that you ultimately love. And I can say that through what we've been through, we have literally been put through the fire of like we've gone through the hells together that it's kind of merged us together. Like we're now like melded, like or welded or whatever the word is, together in like love, like true love of friendship and passion to see each other succeed. And so it's just because of all this industry is rough. It's a rough industry, you know. It's crazy that, you know, we build a studio and we change the way that studio prices go. And, you know, as being an engineer in the game, you know, most engineers, he'll tell you that they charge, you know, $75 an hour to go in here. And so we're building the studio and I'm saying, hey, Ma, like, what if we charge $200 a month? And Ma's like, yeah, let's try that. And then we do that and we get, you know, 10, 15, 20 artists doing that. And we're able to then pay engineers, you know, a certain. So when the beginning of it is so many people saying that won't work. Mm-hmm. That's stupid. You know, I don't get how that's going to go down. And then finally it works and you become the busiest studio in Arizona and you're competing with some of the ones that have been here for so long. And people are now trying to copy your model. And we went through that through our 2 studios. And then coming into Scrybe, we're like, hey, you know, what if we charge 50 cents a month? And you took that 50 cents and, you know, you start acquiring your fan base, you split so much more money in that for the artist rather than 0.003 cents, you know? And you get so many artists saying, that won't work. I don't get it. Why can't I charge $10? And then one day it clicks and it works. And you're getting bigger artists that are finally making thousands upon thousands of dollars a month and expanding that to even, you know, millions of dollars in a year. Yeah. And somebody's like, oh, so it does work. So I think the biggest part is the perseverance, like, you know, that we just had to go through what I think every entrepreneur has to go through is that phase of not only self-doubt, but worldly doubt. Yeah. Is that everybody doubts what you're doing, the new idea that's coming. Mm-hmm. As they doubted Spotify, as they doubted, you know, every other, you know, I'm sure when they went from tape or CD, you know, vinyl to tape or tape to CD or whatever, everybody's like, I don't want to put this CD player in my car. I just want to keep my tape deck, you know, and there's always a little bit of roughness. And that's kind of, you know, there's plenty of other things, but I think that's like the main one that we persevere through really well as a team in partnership.
The doubts and the people, the naysayers. Not only from family, not only from friends and people around you, but also from family, which is like what hits the hardest because they're the ones that are supposed to support you the most. So, you know, you really have to stick through it because those people have a huge impact on what we do. So the fact that you guys have persevered through that, you know, as men providing for families and you know, having employees that depend on you, you're still going through it with what you believe in, which is this app and what it's going to do for artists. So there's obviously other platforms like Spotify and, you know, Apple Music and many others. And people might say, well, why this one? Like, what's the difference with this one as far as, you know, let's talk about the quality. Because one of the things I noticed is the sound quality. Mm-hmm. I was playing a new album today and I heard it on these AirPods. And the difference in sound is truly, truly amazing. Yeah. The sound quality from Scrybe is different from the sound quality of Spotify. So why is that?
We don't compress any of the music that's been uploaded to Scrybe. That's one of the things that's always worked between me and Christian is we kind of each let each other grow in our own lanes. Right. You know, so like he said, I've grown up in studios around the valley. I've been to every major studio, and being an artist myself, I used to be in a singing group, so we used to go and sing in a lot of studios. We worked with some of the biggest producers that were in Arizona at the time. They worked with C.C. Peniston and, you know, dealing with A&M Records and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I got a first-hand view of what it means to put a quality recording together and things like that. They're putting a lot of work and a lot of money in these studios to give you a product that they put their heart and soul into. And when you go and upload it to a streaming app, you do not want to compress it because all it's doing is taking away from a lot of that hard work, away from that message that they're trying to deliver to you. Yeah. So,
especially as a producer or an engineer like yourself, you guys listen to every little minuscule pin drop that nobody else can hear, but it's all in the details. Like with anything that you do, it's all in the details, and that's what really like brings the soul to a song or a body of
It really
work.
does.
And when you remove that, you're taking a little piece of that art, and you're not really, as an artist, getting to show people what you really do. So Scrybe actually cares so much about the artist that they choose not to compress the music, and they really give it to you exactly as is, so that you can truly experience
100%.
that art form.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a big deal for Mott when we were building this app. Like, he was on it as far as like, I got to hear it in the car, got to hear it in the, I want to make sure the sound quality stays as high as possible, and when you're starting out and you're a small startup company, every little bit kind of helps you get through, and storage fees are a big thing. And so you say, like, when you're uploading a WAV file or an MP3, whatever, that has to get stored somewhere. And every time it gets stored somewhere, there's a fee that comes along with it. We carry the fee as Scrybe. We don't charge the artist 1 penny to upload their music. There's no hosting fees. There's no $20 a month, $20 a year like DistroKid, or $9.99 like CD Baby or TuneCore. We are 100% free for the artist. We carry their entire storage fee for them, and then we don't compress their music, because that is how much we love the artist. I understand that music, for one, like, I know you didn't ask, but I'm going to go on. Music moves me. Okay, I play 11 instruments myself, and music is what keeps me going on a daily basis. It pushes me through the gym. It pushes me through relationships. It pushes me through almost everything. It's always been there, And
the soundtrack to your life.
The soundtrack to my life. There's not a time that you can ask me what song is in your head, and I will start singing you a song. And if you ask me 5 minutes later, there will be a different one. I am the living radio, And so that is why I have a special place for anybody who creates music. Regardless of how I feel about them personally or their views or whatever, there's a special place in my soul for anyone who creates music. And I don't care about the genre. I don't care. You put pen to paper and then put that pen to paper to an instrumental that somebody else created, and then get in the studio, and then you work with an engineer who puts their creative art and thought into that. That is a different type of manifestation, a different type of creativity than anyone else can imagine. And sitting in the studio with Mott for hours upon hours, watching him work this craft to get the best sound quality out. Like, I'm getting chills as I think about, like, hearing sometimes the artist go in and be, trying to figure out the pitch or trying to figure out something, and then hear him tweak and see it. It's so amazing.
Yeah, there's
And
true
then
magic.
it's true magic. And the fan, I don't think, sometimes some fans get it, but some fans don't. And when they're, when you have a fan who's like willing to, they don't want to pay anything for music, they think music should be free. It's sad because you don't understand what goes into that play button. Just because you push that play button and sound comes out of your headphones, and you do something to that. Whether you're relaxing in a car, or you're going through the gym, or you're going through a breakup and this is just sad music that you want to listen to allow you to cry, you don't want to pay for that, but that music is doing something in your life, because we're all on a vibe and on a frequency. So
exactly. Music
it's sad.
can change your mood, and your mood can change your trajectory of that day, and that
Yes.
changes the outcome of opportunities
And
or how
it's-
you deal with whatever comes that day. So
Yeah.
there's something so powerful about music and making it accessible, how you guys do it, and being able to support the artists that are contributing to humanity in such a large way, because music is really one of the most important art forms that we have since the history of mankind, and even before that, you know? So when you were, go ahead.
No, I'll give you another example. When I first started out trying to produce music myself, it was something that, my music group at the time, we had split up, and it was just me and our other partner, Chris, who had been together singing for years. We wanted to keep going. So I knew nothing about music. I just sat down in a keyboard that our managers had bought for us years before, and I just sat down and tried to start producing. I can play you some of those original recordings, and it sounds horrible. But compared to something that I've recorded more recently, I put in those hours to learn how to make that music sound the way I want it to sound, to get the message to sound the way I want it to sound. So I can appreciate any musician today that's perfected their craft to that point, and I want to make sure that they get that message out in the best way possible. That's why we want to make sure Scrybe
Yeah.
sounds the way it sounds.
Yeah, definitely. Let's switch over to the pricing. I know you touched on it a little bit where you guys talk about it's 50 cents a month. How did we get to that number and why does that work? Because there's some people that might say, what do you mean I'm going to sell my music for 50 cents? I'm worth more than that. Like I'm not, so where
Right.
does that come from? Let's talk about the breakdown of how that actually is a really great business model and why it helps not only the fans, but the artists at the same time.
Yeah. You really have to do almost a history lesson to understand why we came to 50 cents and, why it is what it is and to kind of rebuttal those artists that think that they should be charging 10, 20. And it's not to say that we want to undervalue music, but there is a market to music that has changed over the years. So we went through if people are old enough, we went through a phase where music was being downloaded online for free, right? And that was because we went from physical CDs to the internet.
Yeah.
The internet popped up and people were able to take these CDs and burn it onto their computer into an MP3 form and then share it, right? And so it undervalued music so much at that time. So now music was being given away for free. And it was hurting record labels, it was hurting artist sales, and we were seeing this huge decline where the music industry almost went semi-bankrupt. It was like labels couldn't succeed, artists couldn't succeed, and music was going to go extinct, at least in the way that we knew it, right? And so then we have our current savior of the music industry, Spotify, that comes along and takes these MP3s and puts them on one single platform where you could pay a subscription amount and listen to these songs essentially for free, or just not pay anything and listen to it for free and hear an ad every now and again. And then they get paid from the ad revenue, right? And then the artist is going to get paid a licensing fee every time a stream it goes through. And back then it was 0.009, now it's 0.003 cents per stream, something in that line. And that depends on how long they listen to it, what area of the world in, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Well, the issue is with that is that it's not conducive to the growth of the artist as a whole and the music industry. Two things are fighting against each other. So you have Spotify that wants to pay the artist less while the artist wants to get paid more. And Spotify is trying to, because they collect revenue and then to make more money, they have to pay the artist less so that they can have higher profit margins and pay their people. And the artist is like, well, I want more money. Well, now you have two opposing items that are going against each other. So if we could find, when we sat down and we're like, how do we find the balance between everything? How do we create a world where it's inexpensive for fans, but artists can still get paid a lot more based off of their fan base? Because that's really where it comes down to, So at one point we started out where the app was wide open. Anybody could come and you could put as much as you wanted on the app. And what we had people coming on there, putting their album on there for $10 a month. Well, Spotify is only $13 a month. So why pay? And so what would happen is if we allowed that to keep going and people were putting their music on there for $10 a month, you're going to push us back into a world of stealing music again.
Right.
Because the fan, one thing we have proven in history is the fan will get their music.
Yeah.
They will get their music no matter what. Yeah. Even if they got to download it and start selling it at barbershops, they will do it. So we don't want to we don't want to push the fan into a corner where they now have to bite back and say, your music is too expensive. I'm going to go ahead and buy it from my friend Myra, who already bought it, and say, Myra, let me listen to it. I'm going to stream it on my phone now. It's going to come to my phone. I'm just going to, record it. And now I have the music too, and I can bump it in my car. Forget quality. I just want to make sure I can listen to it because you're listening to it. So the balance is we have to figure out a way to where the fan does not necessarily think about the money anymore. They're not thinking about what's coming out of their wallet. 50 cents to a fan that loves somebody's music, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It should be nothing if you're a true fan.
Right.
Yeah,
so 50 cents a month.
Yeah,
Easy.
nothing.
Yeah.
And most artists aren't even charging that much. They're charging 25 or 30 cents. So that is the cap because we wanted to keep an ecosystem where everybody can still eat. Because if you upload yours for $10 and then they upload theirs for $10 and somebody else, well, the thing is that if somebody's paying for your $10, you might have maxed the budget of a fan because they need to buy groceries. Yeah. I can't pay $10 for you and $10 for you, and that's $30 out of my pocket.
You're choosing whether to eat or listen to music.
Music,
you
yeah.
Can't do that. You want to listen to music while you eat your food.
Exactly. So you create a world where it's 50 cents a month. The artist you have to understand that 0.003 versus 50 cents a month is more than 50 times what you're currently getting paid.
Plus, it's guaranteed income, so you don't have
Exactly.
to continuously be listened to or even put out any more work if you don't want to or can't. Not that they would, but that happens sometimes. And
Right.
as long as they're subscribed to you, then they'll still make that money. And so that's money that the artists can plan on, they can budget on, they can build a life with. They know predictability is going to help them plan for their lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was the whole core of Scrybe. What we're going through and experiencing now is the new shift that we've battled for the last 3 years of explaining what Scrybe is. Spotify went through the same thing against labels and artists that didn't want to accept this new business model. They were like, no, we're just going to keep selling CDs. And Spotify's like, it's not going to work. We're telling them the same thing, is that Spotify is eventually going to fail.
Yeah.
It's going to fail because it doesn't work well with the music industry. The person who built Spotify is a tech guy. He's a brilliant tech guy. Can't take it past Daniel Ek. But me being in tech plus music, bringing in an audio engineer who knows the quality sound, we've created a superpower team that is conducive. We don't make money as a company unless the artist makes money. So while Spotify only hosts the biggest artists on their front page because those biggest artists are the ones who bring in the millions of people who pay $15 a month,
Yeah.
we are catering to all artists, big and small, because everybody's fan base helps us eat and pay our employees and do all the things that we need to do.
Yeah.
So your growth, their success is our success. Without them, there is no us.
Right.
You know?
Yes. And what is the split between, I mean, how does Scrybe Streaming actually stay in service? You know, how do you survive? How does your team eat? What do you do?
So we take an 80-20 split. So just like every other direct-to-creator, direct-to-consumer platform that's out there right now, the industry standard is kind of 80-20. But that is because we're a startup. We have high AWS costs, which are our storage fees, for your music right now. And we're still gaining that traction. The goal is hopefully to knock that down within the next, hopefully, year to 2 years as we continue to get more fans, more users on this app. We're not greedy. There's a lot of money to be made. And honestly, there's no need to be over eccentric or really be
Overzealous.
zealous and trying to just, we can mooch off everything. We have a small team of shareholders, you know, and all those shareholders work within Scrybe. So everybody knows the goal. There's no outsourced funding they're like, hey, you got to pay us our money back. None of that.
We
So
answer to no one.
we answer to no one. We are on our island. This is our island. This is our fruits of our own labor. We do not mind, you know, I don't need to have $27 million in my account like another CEO of another streaming app. We won't name his name again. So to say his name too many times, then, you know, it's like Beetlejuice, you know,
Yeah.
they show up.
But
So-
he brings up a good point. Right now, it's just a struggle to try to overcome the mistrust that's been created by a lot of the previous streaming apps. So, you know, with a lot of these artists being told, you know, Spotify is the way to go, and then now you're hearing almost on a weekly basis, there's no money to be made in streaming. So we're trying to show, hey, yes, there is a way to make money in streaming, and this is how it's going to be done. But it's just overcoming those trust issues.
Yeah, definitely. Rebuilding that relationship and
Exactly.
rebuilding that trust
Yeah.
and showing the artist, like, hey, we got you. It's
We got you.
okay.
Yeah.
I did hear you mention your team, so I want to talk about that. It's something really amazing that because you have such a tight in-house team, that the artists, whenever they do come with an issue or something, or they have a question directly on how does this work, how do I upload my music, how do I add somebody that collaborated with me, the team is very hands-on. And so let's talk about that. That's a really great aspect because we're not outsourcing that to anyone else. We're
Right.
just taking care of it. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so artists that have issues, like, I mean, whatever it is, you know, small or large, if you're having an issue uploading your music, you can reach out to our team and we can get you into a queue where we can actually get your music uploaded for you if you're having issues or whatnot. It's a very, like you said, it's very hands-on. We do want to be a part of the artist's success. And we get it that when you're dealing with a distributor or a label or somebody that's, you know, kind of, you know, got their hands in your pot, an artist is more so of a creative where they don't want to think about, how do I get my music uploaded? How do I get my music uploaded? You know, we're here to say, like, we get your frustration that you just want to create freaking music. If you're really struggling to get your music uploaded, I can't even talk, we will help you. You know, we're here for that. You know, if you're trying to figure out how to market yourself a little bit better, let us know. We will help you. You know,
Yeah,
and
let's talk about that because that was actually my next question. Is the coolest thing about Scrybe is that it's actually an ecosystem. There's so much more than just being like, hey guys, upload your music and okay, thanks.
Bye.
There's so much more because we understand that artists need development, they need marketing, they need so many different things, engineering and photo shoots and interviews and everything like that. So let's talk about Rain Marketing.
yeah, Rain Collective.
Yeah.
So actually, Mott is over the Rain Collective and oversees all the artists. So I'll just talk a little. It's the Rain Collective is a collective of artists that we decided that if they meet the criteria of what we're looking for, they can pretty much go with this program that Mott has put together that's helping them with quality photos and recording stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and-
tell us how you came up with that, how that came about.
Well, really, it's all just a desire of me. I love being in the studio, and I love working with artists, period. I mean, especially in art, I'm working with an artist now, Kaylee Roselle, who's, I think her voice is just amazing, and I've always been attracted to amazing voices. I mean, I just love someone with a powerful voice. So it just got back to that, you know, I wanted to get back to that feeling of being in the studio and helping put a project together. And at the same time, having these artists work together, you know, collaborate and things like that, help each other out. And that's kind of, you know, where Christian came up with the great idea for the, you know, for the Rain Artists, you know, Collective to just work together and develop your projects and help each other kind of move up, I guess, once you're done with your project. We have each artist. They'll maybe feature one of the other artists in the Rain Collective or something like that, or maybe give them a shout out or something when they're posting their new music. So yeah.
That's so cool. So it's everybody helps each other.
Exactly.
And that's a really great way to grow, actually. That's a
Yeah.
great way to gain success is if everyone kind of
Exactly.
promotes each other. That's awesome. I love that.
And the best part is like there is no like as far as contractual agreements, the only thing written in the contract is that music must be exclusively on Scrybe.
Right.
But there is no percentages taken by the collective as a whole. So everything that the Rain Collective earns comes from the artists within that put their music on Scrybe. So because everybody who works within Rain also works within Scrybe, we're only relying on the 20% earnings that's made from Scrybe to fund Rain. Rain has no other form of revenue. It is truly for the love of the music in that sector of the company.
That's awesome. So yeah, you work with a lot of independent artists. I don't know if we can bring this up. This is kind of like a little bit of a top secret, but you have gotten noticed. I mean, Scrybe has gotten noticed by the biggest names in the industry. We obviously cater to the, you know, independent artists that are up and coming, the ones in between that have, you know, independent popularity, but also recently you caught the attention of Kanye West. Is that something that we can talk about? I think this is a great story to tell.
Up to you, yeah.
You know, how cool is that? You know, that he's obviously about independent music and he agrees with the vision of liberating, and so it aligned that union came to be. And let's talk about how at this time Scrybe is the only platform hosting the newest album.
Right. It's actually crazy. How do we say this? We have a very, very hardworking young lady within Scrybe Streaming who puts in an amazing amount of dedication. When she is focused and hyper-focused on something, she takes care of it. She is a master manifester and has been working on this individual for a long time. So how do we give a shout out to that lady? I don't even know. Can that lady please, can we get her? Oh, can you stand up and give yourself a round of applause? That's how it came about. I mean, like I said, I think that for one, it's the openness of our team to say like, hey, Myra, like I don't know. I don't even know how to give you praise in this moment because it's a huge feat to have him on. I think I should be interviewing you in this situation.
No, I mean, it was just because you guys have created an amazing platform that I trust, that I know is quality. Quality is top for me. I demand, as you guys know me, you know, we're all part of the team, you know that I demand quality with anything. And so when I see that, it's because I can trust quality and I know that other people can trust it. And so it makes it easy to know that I could bring it to somebody as high as Ye, and that he would respect it. Not only does he respect it, he loves it.
Right.
You know? So I know that it's a company and a platform that I'm proud to represent.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's really the best thing ever, and so that's pretty awesome. Like for all of us, like all of the team has put in so much work on everything to build it up to where it's at. So
Right.
it's a collective union of everybody's hard work. So just really claps for everybody.
Yeah, no, seriously. And I can say that, like, I am absolutely proud of the team that we've put together. I mean, some individuals have come on this team with, no knowledge of the music industry at all, and just had a passion for what we were doing and saw kind of like the family-oriented vibe that we have, and was like, yo, I want in. And then they have grown to places that they never knew they could, And as this continues to take off, it's going to supply, I think, more intention in so many people's lives, and gives them a vision of where they can be in the next 15, 20 years and what they can pass down to their kids and all that good stuff. Just to go back to it though, but just to throw this out there, Donda 2 is amazing. Donda 2 is
Love it.
absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And I just have to give that shout out, regardless of, take all business aside, just as a fan of music, as somebody who like thrives on music, Donda 2 has not one skippable track. It is absolutely phenomenal, phenomenally produced. The quality obviously is ridiculous.
Shout out to Digital Nas.
Oh yes, shout out to Digital Nas for sure.
Yes.
When they uploaded in the highest wave format that can be uploaded, which is awesome. You will never get the Donda 2 experience on any other streaming app like you will on Scrybe Streaming.
Yes.
That sound quality is ridiculous. And then you plug that with, and this has nothing to do with Apple, I'm not even shouting out, those headphones with the Donda 2 is absolutely a crucial thing. It is amazing. Yeah. Listen to it on the best speakers you can on the Scrybe Streaming app, and you will have an in-concert experience where Kanye is in your living room, in your car, in your ear, at the gym with you, whatever.
I literally felt, when I put them on and I heard the Donda album, I transformed into being in the studio. Like I felt like I was in the studio as the music was being made. Like I'm in Spain now that I put these headphones on, because that's where they're producing the music.
Whew.
So
yeah,
yes.
It's chill worthy, for real. You have to, if you haven't heard it, I'm not just saying just jump on Scrybe, you have to hear it for what it's worth on an uncompressed app. Or you just don't get the full feel of what I believe Digital Nas and Ye put into that album.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So let's talk about the headphones, because I have them sitting right here.
Yeah.
What do we plan to do with these?
So lots of giveaways. This is just a few of them that we have here, but Arizona gets the biggest benefit because we will be doing little giveaways and hiding these around the valley. So whoever lives in the valley, you kind of get the ability. So the goal is, though, we want to join our communities. Our community is for the fans and for the artists. So some of these, I think 2 of them will be given away as we hide them throughout the valley. There's a few more that will be given away online, but you have to be a part of the Scrybe Streaming community to get them.
Yes.
You have to have the app, because we do throw out nuggets on the app, little pieces of audio in certain areas. When we throw out a link, you have to go listen to the audio to get the address to where these just might be. So make sure you tune into the community and all that.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. So other things that we should stay tuned for, what other plans do the fans and our listeners have to look forward to with Scrybe? What do you guys have in the works?
We want it to be a full experience for everyone. Christian and I, we're always cooking up ideas for the app. I think we had some discussion of eventually having video options available for, the podcasters, things like that. I think we wanted to, I think we also talked about getting it in every car and on every television. So
That's right.
There's going to be a lot of things coming up in the works. We just, like I said, it's just getting us off the ground and running. So.
Yeah. I mean, we're running.
We're running. We're moving right now.
Yeah.
Aside from that, you have to remember, Scrybe also owns Vibeland.com, which is a ticket sales website. We eventually will begin to do our own events. So hosting and featuring our own artists from the Scrybe app, in which you have to be on the app, you have to be doing, pushing it, doing well, all that good stuff for us to reach out. You might get a call for us to book you at a Scrybe event. So we have pop-up events coming up with our Rain artists that will be hosted at undisclosed locations. You have to be a part of our community to know where these locations are. Fully free events that's hosting food, giving away AirPods and money and all kinds of stuff. So you have to be a part of the community to experience that. And then there's the technical aspect, like Mott was talking about. We're looking to host video on the app before the end of the year. And we're also going to give influencers a way to make money on the app as well.
Oh, that's right. Influencers, but we also have a podcast feature that already exists on the app.
That's
so
right.
We did focus a lot on the music. Well, let's talk about the other sectors that are in there. Podcasters.
Yeah.
They are able to upload their podcasts on
Same
there.
thing, yeah.
Same. People can subscribe to them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
So-
listen to that. And then eventually, like you said, we're going to end up integrating video features so you can have the whole podcast on video.
There's currently a radio feature also,
Yeah.
and there's going to be more to develop with there. It's very basic right now, but there's plans to beef that feature up as well. We're
Yeah,
going to have,
for sure.
with my partner, Chris, my singing partner, I should say, he's going to be hosting shows on the actual radio feature and, doing a lot of drops, things like that. So a lot more to come.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely so much room to grow. It's such a great foundation, and it's beautiful, and we love it. So thank you both for being here and for talking about Scrybe and
course.
just letting everyone know about all the great things that we're doing.
Yeah,
And we
thank
just
you
got
for
to
having
know.
us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Yay, high five.
High five. And cut.